we've been lied to. We grew up believing two things that were taught us by the environment around us. Almost all of us receive these messages. Number one, hard work equals money. But in reality, hard work does not equal more money. Second one, longer hours equals more money. When in reality, longer hours does not equal more money. So here's the real question. What does equal more money? Now, this is a really, really important question because I can't give you the answer because it's different for almost every business. In fact, I believe that in every business, there are 5 or fewer things that they're responsible for the vast majority of their success in their business. Your job is to figure out what those 5 things are. Number 2, then to figure out how to do those 5 things better than your competition. Number 3, actually do them better over and over again. So it's not enough to just do them. You need to do them better than your competition over and over again. And to get constantly better at being better. Because here's the thing that happens. As you are better than your competition says, hey, this is working for them. I should go do that too. And so what it's constantly doing is raising the bar of what you have to do to be better than everybody else. And so you need to constantly get better at being better. Now, don't get overwhelmed here. This is not all that hard. Let me just give you an example of this. So you've all read Shoe Dog. If you haven't, you probably ought to go read it. It'll teach you an awful lot about many mistakes that we make in business. But they did many right things also. And one of them, let's talk about the 5 things that I believe for Nike. So Nike, number 1, getting admired athletes to wear their stuff. Okay. That started off this very, very early, putting those shoes on the feet of admired athletes. Now it's put the shoes and the clothing and everything else like that on everybody, all the way down even to college, and in some cases, high school teams are now being contracted to wear Nike gear. Next is design. Both two things, both appearance and performance. So they're consistently designing better performing materials, but also they're making them look good. And that's the reason why there's this side market for buying Nike things and hoarding them and then selling them later on because they just look so good. Third thing, they create a constant stream of new desirable products. So that thing you had to have for $150, that pair of shoes you had to have for $150 6 months ago, now as you come into the next season, you have to have the new thing for another $180 because it's better than it was before. That constant stream. So those are 4 things that Nike does really well. And I think you could add 5 by saying design of appearance and design of performance. Those 5 things are what created Nike. All right, now let's take this, since few of us are in the business of creating shoes, let's take this for a course developer. All right, what have you got to do as a course developer to do those 5 things? Here are the things that I believe are important. Number 1, creating a perception of expertise in your marketplace. Your marketplace needs to believe that you understand what is going on. Now, you don't have to create the perception that you are the biggest expert in your market. You just have to create a perception that you know what you're talking about in this particular market. That's important. That difference between being the expert and being an expert is really important because you don't have to hit the high one. Next, you have to getting opt-ins. You have to get people to sign up for an email list so that you have the ability to communicate with them forever for free. That's very important because we can't do this business long-term with rising ad costs and everything else like that without having a way to be able to consistently communicate with this audience that believes that we're an expert. Next is getting followers. So yes, it is still important to do social media because that's where everyone hangs out. That's where people create those perceptions of belief. That's where people are getting most of their information these days. And so we need to be generating followers on social media. Next, we need to be developing trust so that they love us and trust us and want to buy everything that we sell to them. And then next, it's actually you have to get really good at selling your product when the time comes to sell your product. If you're in a launch model, hey, you may be 2 weeks of the year that you're doing that. But however you sell, you need to get really good at selling your product. Now, here's the interesting thing. If you look at that list of the 5 things that a course creator needs to be really, really good at, what's not on that list? Okay, the first one is somewhat surprising. You don't have to be the best expert in the market. There can be other people who know more about what it is that you teach than you do. But if you've put together a better system that helps people execute it better than than people who don't understand that system, you can become the number one in your market. Now, notice I made a distinction there between creating a system that allows people to easily get to the transformation and being the most knowledgeable person in your market. This one, the better system, is more important than being the most knowledgeable in your marketplace. Another thing that is not on the list of the 5 most important things that you need to do is you don't have to have great technology. You just have to have good enough. Okay? So you don't have to have the most gorgeous pages. I strongly advocate for having gorgeous pages, but you don't have to have the most gorgeous. You don't have to have the fanciest technology that does all these different things. You just have to have it be good enough to deliver the information they need to be able to achieve the transformation in their life. Next, you don't have to have the personal ability to do stuff. You can hire other people to do a lot of the things that you really need to do in this particular marketplace. So realize that every time you got a list of the 5 most important things, you've got a whole list of all the other stuff that's not on that list that you don't have to be the best at. The important thing is this. Pick what's most important and pick it right. Then become the best at those things that you can possibly be. Ideally, become the best in your market at those things. Next, build systems to do those 5 things well over and over again. And then get great at getting greater at those things so you never lose that competitive edge. If you'll do those things, you will then be successfully doing the 5 things that are most important for you to do and not wasting your time spending all that time and energy and money and everything else like that doing the things that don't matter. Pick those 5 things for you and go out and nail them. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.